What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, check it out. We know that for the last couple of years, Sony and Nintendo have been cooking up a Legend of Zelda live-action movie. Now we're starting to get some information on it. It has set a spring of 2027 release, and the specific date is right here, March 26th of 2027. So 2 years from now, we'll be in theaters watching Legend of Zelda. Hey, look, I'm not mad at this movie. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on it because it is live action. It is not animated. Look, I feel like this. Live action is probably going to appeal to a broader audience. And so, you know, if you could get away with doing it in a Nintendo movie, you know, when you're talking about video games, you know, the more live action you have in it, the more broad the appeal. Notwithstanding that Super Mario Brothers did like really do really well as just a pure animated movie. But at the same time, it's like, okay, Legend of Zelda kind of lends more into that type of a story because you do have things like, you know, a forest, you know, you have young children, you have, you know, monsters and everything, which of course you can do CGI, you can do it animated. But I just feel like Legend of Zelda actually fits, you know, with a live action adaptation. But that's not the only news that we got. We also got news that it's going to be the start of a trilogy. All right. So we're actually going to get a trilogy out of Legend of Zelda, not just a single movie, but they actually are building this out already into a trilogy. Legend of Zelda might be a film trilogy with a planned release in 27. Principal filming starts in New Zealand in November of 25, wrapping up in April of 26. Shigeru Miyamoto and Hollywood producer Avi Arad will produce the Zelda movie. So, yeah, I think doing it as a trilogy and just setting it up that way immediately, and then filming it in New Zealand, everybody's going to immediately start thinking, hey, is this another Lord of the Rings? Is that what we're doing here? It just makes sense, in my opinion, to do it like that. I think it'll be just fine. Again, it really is going to come down to the storytelling. Are they going to do a original story, or are they going to do an adaptation of one of the existing games? You know, that's the other question. You're like, do you do an original? I think you have to do an original. And if you don't do an original, here's the question. If you don't do an original, how are you going to put a trilogy together? You know, how do you put a trilogy together? Because all the games are a little bit different. And yeah, there's absolutely a way you could do it. I'm just saying, like, it probably makes more sense just to say, hey, let's just do an original story. Come right away. We're going to make games based off of each movie. So as we go through, we'll have 3 new Zelda games to go with this trilogy. And you can play the game and go watch the movie and then watch the movie and play the game, whichever order they put it in. I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. It'll be a big boost as well to the Zelda franchise. And like I said, with the live action adaptation or live action movie, it will have very broad appeal. It will appeal to more people than if they just did it animated, you know. So I think this is a great idea. I don't think there's anything that can really go wrong with it. You know, here's another article talking about it. Basically set in 3 movies over 6 years. That's the claim. You know, so you do it 3 years, every 2 years, you got another Zelda movie coming out. So if they're doing 2027, 2029, 2031, I think that's dope. All right. Honestly, I think that's dope. That means in the next 6 years, you know, we're going to get 3 Zelda movies and live action adaptations. It's awesome. Now, there's a lot of people asking questions that definitely need to be answered. And the first one is like, who's your cast? All right. Are you really going to cast Tom Holland? I don't know if they're going to do Tom Holland right off the rip. I think they're going to start with young Link. At least that's what I would do. I would start with young Link. And if you're spacing it out over a trilogy, you go from young Link to more adult Link to, you know, very adult, you know. I think that's the way to go. Anya Taylor-Joy and Zelda. Look, I mean, that's the obvious choices. This looks actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie. This actually looks good. But I think Tom Holland is a little bit too old at this point to play the first Link that we see. The first Link should probably be somebody in their, you know, young teenage years, you know, 14, 15, 16, something like that. You know, we don't need to see Tom Holland as Link until much later. And I think by the time we get to those later films, he would fit actually pretty good. You know, would he do it? Is that's what people would like? You know, we would have to see. Yeah, this guy brings this part up. Link needs to talk in the Zelda movie. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I can't imagine a version of Zelda movie where the primary protagonist doesn't talk that I'd like to see. But Nintendo is leaning into making it an actual character trait of the last few games is concerning. Yeah, so Link doesn't talk in the games. All right. Link doesn't say a mumbling word in the games, you know, outside of a couple of little, you know, damn or God. like he makes sounds, but he doesn't actually have dialogue. He doesn't really talk in any of the games. So the question is, do you have a movie where the primary character, the lead protagonist, the main character, don't say a word? Doesn't say a word. Maybe he has his little Navi, little elf or whatever sitting on his shoulder. Hey, listen. And, and then starts talking that way. Like, how do you do it? How are they going to pull this off? That's the question that I got, all right? How you going to pull it off? Look, I feel like this. Look, he shouldn't talk. He shouldn't talk. Find a good actor. Find a really good actor that can bring out some characteristics of Link without talking, and let everybody else around him talk. I think that would be actually interesting. Now, look, I don't think that's going to happen, but I would do it. If I was making this, I would be like, oh, no, Link ain't talking. All right. We staying authentic to the game. We ain't having Link talk. He ain't going to be able to talk. Sorry. That would be a lot of fun. That would be interesting to watch. But most people are just upset that it is a live action movie. Why live action, or why is it not an animated movie? Again, I just think that it lends itself better. Again, you can have real actors. The forest, you can actually set it up in actual forests. You can build out practical sets. Everything doesn't have to be CGI. If you do it properly, you don't have to have CGI shoved in your face on every single frame. I think that actually would be good. That's a good thing, in my opinion. Practical sets, it looks like the world is real. It doesn't seem like it's all fake and phony. I think there's something to be said for that when it comes to filmmaking. We're getting away from that. We're starting to do a lot more CGI. Let's get more practical sets, and practical effects. Other people are worried about it being woke. Obviously, that's always going to be a concern these days. But I think Nintendo ain't going to let that happen. Nintendo's like, yeah, we're just making a movie about the game, about the story world, about Hyrule, Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, and everything else that's going on there. That's all we're doing. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be woke. Nintendo ain't stupid. Please cast Hunter Schafer. Might work. Could work. See, again, somebody else. We don't need live action for everything. Bring animated movies back, please. Again, I just think for Zelda, it works. I think everything else in Nintendo, probably you should be doing some sort of a animated version. Like Mario worked pretty well. If you did a Kirby movie, I think Kirby needs to be animated. If you did a Star Fox, obviously, you could do Donkey Kong, Metroid. I think all of that stuff would be fine in some sort of an animated form. I just think that Legend of Zelda, I've always imagined a Legend of Zelda movie as live action. I can't really see it any other way at this point. I can't wait to see this. Yeah, like a lot of the stuff that they've been doing with Zelda games lately, it's not like Wind Waker, right? Wind Waker or Ocarina of Time. It's been very realistic looking. So it's like, why would you want to now make it animated? Just, and an animation like this would have probably been okay. But I just think just go to the next level. Makes sense to me. Crazy. Would they do this? Yeah. Rachel Zegler signs on his Link. Whoo, man. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they did this to this movie? Yeah, you talking about instant failure. Instant ass failure, bro. I don't think there's a chance in hell they sign Rachel Zegler. Stop making live actions. Every important character will be fat, black, and gay. Look, again, I think all of that stuff, Nintendo is not about to let that happen to any of their properties. All right? You saw what happened with that original Super Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins? After they made that movie, Nintendo said, nope, we're done. We're not doing this again. And we didn't see another Super Nintendo movie or a Nintendo movie until Super Mario Brothers. That's how much gatekeeping Nintendo had. There was probably all kinds of money thrown at Nintendo to adapt this, adapt that. But they were like, nope, I think actually, I'm sorry, Detective Pikachu, then Mario. They're not playing these games, all right? Nintendo is not playing these games. So I don't think there's going to be any wokeness going on. Look, everybody trying to say, yeah. Hey, look, I don't blame people for saying it. But I think Nintendo is smarter than that. I think they're going to basically say, yeah, this is just going to be Zelda, all right? And that's it. But anyway, what do y'all think about this? All right, we're getting a trilogy of Zelda movies. Hey, look, I, for one, am excited. All right, I am absolutely excited. Zelda's always been one of my favorite games of all time. And I mean, the setup is perfect. You have a trilogy, you cast appropriately, You have a great story. It's going to be live action. It's going to appeal to a lot of people. You're probably going to make 3 games to go right along with this new trilogy that you're developing. Smash success. Like, what more could you possibly want, right? But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.